Today is Sunday, July the 5th, 2026. The time is 12:56 p.m. And I titled this one, as you can see, America celebrated 250 years yesterday. But why'd they do this? Surely why'd they do this thing if they so proud? And they're so proud to be an American and they're so brave and all of these things that they tell themselves and that they try to impress upon you. And the thing is, I mean, you had to be living under a rock or just straight up ignore this if you didn't see their march for freedom through Washington D.C. yesterday, as they chanted, "Reclaim America, reclaim America, reclaim America." Right? So that's their battle cry. And as I always say, they always need a cause. They always need a cause. Like, here's the crazy thing that you can own everything. You own, like, you got control of everything, the house, whatever. But nothing is never good enough, right? Because how do you feed an animal that has an insatiable hunger? How do you please an animal that has an insatiable hunger and never? It's like that movie, Little Shop of Horror. Feed me, Simo, and you have to require more, 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 because they're never happy because they'll never be happy with themselves, right? And so as they're marching, and we see a lot of these pictures and a lot of these videos, and we see them marching in formation. Why do they have their faces covered? Right? If you're these proud, brave people and you stand on what you stand on, why'd you have your faces covered? Now, I know why they had their faces covered because they're your doctors, they're your lawyers, they're your politicians, they're probably your firemen, they're probably your police officers. They're probably all of these people that when we have these isolated incidents, your store owners, that when we have all these isolated incidents and you find these people that are in the center of it, and we know clearly what it is, but they're trying to convince us that it's something totally different. That's not what it is. It's not racism. It's you people, the way you people think, right? So quite naturally, in cowardice fashion, you can't show your face, right? Because you don't want people to know how you truly are. You don't want people to know how you truly think, and you're trying to convince them that you're the good doctor, you're the fair lawyer, you're the fair judge. So that's why they had to cover their faces as they marched through the street, yelling, "Reclaim America." And my question is always, reclaim it from who? Who has it, right? But in their minds, just our present. Anybody that doesn't look like them, right? Anybody that doesn't look like them is bothering them. Just like I told you. And on cue, here they come. Right? Reclaim America. Because they think it's because Dookie Dunny is giving them dog whistles. And we know how the dog howls for the whistle, right? And they howl at the whistle, and they think that somebody's taking something from them. My God, I'm white and I'm being replaced. This is the great replacement theory, people. This is the great replacement. They're taking over our country. Goddamn mud sharks. Know that they love to call you things like that, right? They love to call you the mud people, right? because they're always in a state of complaining. And you know how I do on this live. As they come into my live and complain, I'm just going to point out their behavior, right? As they come in and they cry about how tired they are and they just want me to be quiet. And why can't I just talk about something else? Notice they never go nowhere. Now, no, remember my last live? The dude sat and complained the entire time, and the door is wide open. So when the door is open, what can you do? You can walk out of it, right? Right, but that's not how they do. They love to just sit and complain and tell you how, because remember what I say? Racism is what? A mental illness. So only a mentally ill person will sit in the presence of somebody that's just bothering them so much. Surely I don't have you chained. This is social media. You can get up and leave. Surely I don't make you comment. Like you have to give so much brain power, not that they have much, but you have to give so much brain power to type and tell me how much you just don't like what I'm saying. When 9 times out of 10, I don't even hear what they're saying. But again, these are the same people that cover their faces so they don't have balls enough to say anything. They're incorrigible. So they have to wait till everybody else is doing it, right? They have to wait till they have numbers. Isn't that how the clan works? They have to wait till they have numbers. They have to wait till it's 100 of them, right? And they feel powerful in numbers. That's why they say it's strength in numbers, right? So I always say that racist people are mentally ill because they're always shouting obscenities. They're always just shouting random things, like a person that suffers from Tourette syndrome, right? They just shout out the most asinine things for no reason, right? Right? They comment. Now, like I said, and you know how I do to the people that are reoccurring, they comment and they fill up my comments with how much they dislike what I'm saying. And as I always point out to them, do you know if I disliked what you were saying, I would simply remove myself from what you're saying. But they have this obsessive thing that they have to do. And that how the Karen works? The Karen has to stop and make whatever you're doing her business or his business, right? They have to follow you through your complex and you have to prove to them that you belong here because they not only do they feel like they own everything and nothing is never enough. They don't never have enough, but yet they think everything is theirs because it's a mental illness, right? But these are proud people of 250 years that have to cover their faces. These are proud people that sit behind random posts, right? They have to sit behind random profiles and just say stuff over and over. And you know what I always say? Here's the thing. I said, well, even though I encounter some reoccurring people in my life, I encounter a lot of different people like this person in my life now. Now I'm not gonna read the comments yet, even though I see them, right? Like this person in my comments. This person, I don't think I ever seen this person right here, right? But notice the behavior is always the same. Different people, but the complaints are always the same. But they're the ones saying, you always are complaining. Why don't you people, they love to call you people on top of darkies and mud sharks and stuff like that, right? You people are always complaining. You people are always bothering people. But yeah, they decided to do their little proud little thing yesterday. Reclaim America, right? Because they have to work themselves for the rage that's coming. I mean, we would have to be living under a rock if we think these people are just giving empty threats, right? Because what is the book I always show you? 100 years of lynchings. by Ralph Ginsburg, not by me, by Ralph Ginsburg, right? And no matter how calm I sit and and cool I am behind this microphone, they're always raging, right? Because it's much like what they do. They sit and they antagonize and they say all of these things. I've been called everything behind this microphone because they always look for that reaction, right? And no matter what you say, because they're mentally ill, right? So the moment you say something, they say, "Oh, there it is." Well, why you guys are always because they're always the projecting narcissists, right? So yeah, I just wanted to talk about these 250 years. Another look. I'm not gonna talk. Read the comments yet, but here comes Christopher Columbus. What a fitting name. This is his name. He says, Another unimportant narcissist." And I guarantee you he hasn't read the DSM to really understand how narcissism works, right? Because 9 times out of 10, they always think that they're the most important people in the world, and everybody should just stop and just whatever they say, right? Right? But um, look, he says racism. Joe Friday says racism pays well, doesn't it? Right? Because what do we do here, people? We don't allow them to just throw out the word racism. Like I told you, different people, same thing. So because they're psychopathic and they feel that we aren't supposed to say anything, and because they can't experience racism, right? They can't experience any type of like real racism. So anything that you say, like I said, even if I'm talking about basketball, and I say Caitlin Clark needs to work on her game, she needs to work on her defense. Oh, that's racist because they're constantly trying to find ways to make themselves victims. They are the ultimate victims. That's what the projecting narcissist does. He projects or she projects their things onto you. So anytime you say anything and you're a black person that doesn't talk like Jesse Lee Peterson, who founded White History Month in his mind. He's such a yo-yo, right? Anytime you're a black person that resists their racism and you speak back, they say, "Oh, you're racist much," right? Right? Now, mind you, Joe Friday, who I have never met, he's constantly in my life. What did I say? Tell you about mental illness? Because he feels like he has to say something to, because what I'm saying is just messing up Joe's Sunday, even though his name is Joe Friday. And is that the day that you hump the dog, Joe? Well, that would be hump day, which would be Wednesday, but you know, they always have to stop. I told you. Because if I was sitting up here and this was an American flag behind me, and I'm sitting up here like a lost black male, and I'm talking about the importance of America and how we need to show respect and how there is no, he would not be talking like this, right? Because in their minds, I'm an in pocket black person, right? So it wouldn't bother them. But the fact that I challenge or say anything to the contrary makes them crash out in my lives and just continue to type, right? But they don't understand, and and in their rants they'll bring up things like Chicago. They'll bring up things like black on black crime, even though they'll never talk about Kyle Rittenhouse. They'll never talk about things that makes them look like, because the projecting narcissists, not only do they think they're perfect, they don't think they have flaws, right? It's you guys that are the criminals. Sure, we stole land, but it was ours, We had to civilize because it's the white man's burden to civilize you people, right? Even though we're barbarians and we had to learn how to bathe. We're civilizing you because you're dealing with a mental illness, right? But like I said, if you're so proud, why do you hide behind masks? Answer me that. If they are so proud, right? Whether it's the Proud Boys or whatever these groups are, why do they hide behind masks? See, if I say black pride, you see my face. Whether you like what you see or not, that's a you thing, right? But what I'm not is not an irritating little pissant that have to make up fake profiles and just go talk shit in white people. Because number one, white people just aren't that important that I would just spend time just typing to them, right? But I'm that important that they will sit here and they do it every day. And so when I log on live, I always know what it is I'm gonna get. Like Forrest said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Well, you know what you're gonna get on this page. Now, who gonna come in the room? That's debatable, right? You are the reason your people were enslaved. I told you. See, anybody that hear my lives that always listen, I told you, we deal with the same things every day. So some things I am just not gonna get into and repetitive because 5, 6 lives of saying the same thing because they never take accountability, right? What does the narcissist tell you? It's your fault. Why do you make me beat you? You made me hit you. You made me enslave you. It's you guys. That's what the narcissistic personality is. It's you guys that aren't, you just don't, you did it. It's your fault. So, yes, okay, well, you guys sold each other into slavery now. And you guys made us come up with Jim Crow laws. You guys made us lynch you for 100 years. That's an undercount. Right? It's you guys' fault. We don't have any blame of this. Look, Joe who humps his dog on Friday says feeding Africa since what year is that? 1694? What year is that, Joe? They spell your correctly because they like they always like I told you, the narcissist thinks that they're the most important people, so they always think that they're doing you a favor. But where did they get education from? See, Europeans don't have civilization. They're barbarians. Now I will give you a book. I don't give out important books to you Neanderthals because I don't need you swagger jacking. But there's a book by a dude named Terrence McLaughlin. And Terrence McLaughlin has this book called Dirt. And I think you might like it. LB in the building. LB in the building. Right? And in this book by Terrence McLaughlin, he tells you guys, and he's not black, he tells you guys how filthy you are. How that when Arabs or others encountered you, how you guys were lice filled. Your clothes were hotbeds for rodents, bugs. That's your culture and civilization, right? But it's not gonna permeate because they don't see themselves in that way. We're proud Americans and we're gonna reclaim America, right? The psychopath. The psychopath doesn't feel empathy because for them to feel empathy, that would make them know that they are dealing with human beings. And to them, they are the only ones that are important. They don't see anybody else as humans, right? um, and Dookie Dunny just gave them more talking points yesterday because these are the Fox News. Trump was right about everything. Bottom of the barrel people right here, right? So you still haven't answered my question. You guys are telling me everything, but if you're so proud, why do you cover your faces? Answer that. If you guys are so proud, why do you cover your faces? I mean, if you're so proud of how you talk, right? I already have that book, Joe, right? But Joe, tell me if they are such a proud people, and if you are white or whatever, if you subscribe to white supremacy, Joe, why do they hide their faces? And if you don't openly show your face, if you guys are so proud with the way you talk, why is that? Okay, that's Ben FBA says red, black, and green is trash. And see, with them, with the FBA, if you are a black person, because you could be a bot pretending, right? If you are a black person and you see a black man on the live that's being harassed by countless white people, and that's the first thing you come in the room to say, you're on the same brain frequency as them. See, to my black people that are whatever they think they are, because, now let me speak to you, FBA, who says this is the foundational Black America. But I think they showed you yesterday what America is founded on, right? Right? The American flag represents nothing, right? See, your flag represents what you think it represents. See? Right? And he's going to come in and he's going to behave like these white people because the FBA has the white consciousness, right? But see, why? Okay, you said facial recognition is why. That's why y'all. Why would you have to? What? Why? If you're doing something proud and good, why would you worry about facial recognition, Joe? If you're proud of what you're doing, you ought to want to be recognized. If what you're doing is not bad and it's not racist, then why are you worried about facial recognition? Right? Answer that, Joe. If what you're doing is legal and you're proud, then why are you worried about facial recognition? See, only when you're doing something you don't want to be recognized for are you worried about facial recognition. That's not what I asked you, Joe. You said everyone is a racist. That's not true, Joe, or living in denial. Why are you worried about facial recognition? If you're doing something proud, if you are a proud white American, and you saw nothing wrong with that march yesterday, and if you participated in it, I don't know what part of the world you're in, why not be proud of that? Because you know it's bullshit. Like somebody just said, racism is trash, right? People need to eat. Duh. What do you see? That's what I said. See, they come in and they say this stuff, and then when you ask them questions, they can't even give you common sense answers. So okay, you said people need to eat. Duh. What does that mean, Joe? I'm gonna spend time talking to Joe today. What's the other one? What's her name that usually be here? Her name is not. I forget her name. but I usually spend time talking to her. So you said everybody needs to eat. There she goes, Regina. There she goes. I was just trying to think of your name. I usually have a conversation with Regina, but today I'm gonna have a conversation with Joe Friday, even though it's Sunday. You said everybody needs to eat, duh, right? And what does that mean? How does your okay if you're proud of your racist views, how does your racism stop you from eating? What do you mean, everybody? Because you how does that conflict what you're talking about? Okay. You said it's kept alive for one reason, money. Do you keep it alive, Joe? Where do you stand on racism, Joe? Without bringing anybody else into it, man. Where do you stand? What are your views on racism? Do you feel it's a necessary thing? You're typing incoherent. But you won't ever account for your own actions. Here comes just a statement. What do you mean? Like you can't say that, and if you are a Trump follower, let's start at the head of your cult, right? You can't say you guys don't take responsibilities for your actions when he's blaming somebody else for a reflection pool. That he's trying to bring somebody up on charges. He will let he you will pardon people that stormed the Capitol and assaulted police officers, right? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about taking accountability, right? Because remember, I have a video that's about a couple of weeks old that say y'all don't care about criminality, you just care about how it's perceived. You just care about how you're able to label who you think is criminal, right? So assaulting police officers is assaulting police officers, right? So you said we don't ever take accountability. Y'all love to say that in my lives, right? So you have a president that pardoned people that assaulted police officers, right? Now we're gonna see how many genuine and disingenuous people we have in the lives, right? Regina, that gas price ain't came down either yet. But I think you got another week left. You predicted 2 weeks, right? But you would rather and just forget about the Epstein. That don't exist. That's not important. But we're talking about taking accountability. So you give people passes for assaulting police officers, right? But they want you to focus on the ICE agents that took the life of Renee Good because she was trying to injure an officer, right? So they had to delete her. See, that's the thing of like where y'all have holes in what you're talking about. Because you start to talk about accountability, and then when I ask you questions about being accountable, it goes left, right? Okay, I got to see what you're saying, Joe. Let me go back up because I asked you a question, Joe. I got to read the comments. The comments are coming in. Um, because I asked you a specific question. All right. Okay. What'd you say? It's been that going on for 30 years. I'm still reading, Joe, but remember I asked you your personal views, how you felt about it. You say it's phony, it makes a good story, money, the world is. I'm not seeing Joe Biden use auto pen a lot. Regina, here you go with the Joe Biden. Okay, what does that mean, Regina? I'm talking to Joe Friday right now. Knowing that you're violent doesn't makes me racist. It's YOURE, right? So you say it's knowing that I'm violent, gun violence, over 85% of black homicides are see, but Joe, I'm asking you things about you. See, that's what y'all do every day. Y'all come in and you said knowing that I'm violent, right? You misspelled your. Let's deal with knowing I'm violent. Joe, I have never been to jail. See, what makes you racist is that you lump everybody into the same category, and you think because I'm black, I'm racist, I'm a criminal, because that's what you were taught at your dinner table to innately criminalize people, right? But you conveniently skip over the gun violence of school pum-pumers. See, it's one thing to have something overly reported and non-existent. Go check out your man Tim Tebow, as Tim Tebow talks about white fathers and how they are abusive and what they do to white children. See, y'all prove my point when I say you don't care about criminality. You just like the narrative of it, right? When I bring up people like Ethan Couch, who they call the influenza team, right? You guys like to overlook your criminality. You said I'm criminal, but you voted you look like you voted for a 34-time felon. Like, do you know how ridiculous that sounds to have a president that's a felon, but you're trying to make every black person innately criminal? While he's defining what criminality is. See, that's why I don't get into your BS percentages, because y'all do this every day. But let's talk about what it is. And you used the wrong your. I want y'all to do better in your spelling, right? 34-time felon. Most of your teams have that. You say, here we go. You see how you say, here we go? You want to go past that? Most of my teams have that. What does most of your teams have? See, here's the thing. Let's get in our time machine. Let's do our time machine, right? And we're gonna do 1900s, right? And you got to prove, because y'all think we're innately criminal, right? Now, I'm gonna show you the book. I've given y'all two books, because even though I have them come in and they'll say racist things like, "Oh, you can read another stupid thing," right? Because y'all think black people don't understand how to read. Ain't that something that you forbid people to read and then make fun of their educational level? Like, you spent time forbidding people to read and making us strange fruit for attempting to read, and then make fun of us, right? We're not gonna listen to y'all, because y'all give these same bullshit percentages, right? 100 years of lynching, which is an undercount, right? So let's start at 1900. Okay, so since we're criminal, tell me about the black on black crime in 1910. Tell me how we were just savagely taking each other out. Right. Also, with this, we're gonna also have to deal with behavior modification and social engineering, but that's later on down in the journey, right? So 1910, are are we hunting each other down or are we hunting? Now I'm not looking for y'all to be honest because there's no honesty in you because you have to maintain your narrative, right? 1920, are we violently taking each other out? I'm talking about black on black crime. I'm not talking about what we are accused of. Because in this book, you have some of my ancestors that were lynched for smiling at a white woman. I don't know when smiling was criminal, but in your mind it is, right? Because you have to have a narrative. What is that dark you smiling about? What are you smiling about, boy? Right? Because what did I say? Racism is a what? Mental illness. Right? They said most of my teens have this, right? So we're innately criminal. 1930, 1940. But you know who are innately criminal? You know who behaved violently, Joe Friday, during this whole time? White people. I asked the question, Joe, since we're talking since and to the people that want to talk about flags. I said, well, why is it a problem to burn a flag? And you guys who subscribe to Christianity and say you're Christians, but y'all are not bothered by burning a cross. It's okay to burn a cross, but it's sacrilegious to burn a flag. How, Sway? Right? Like I said, I'm not looking for you guys to give honest, open answers because that's not in you. Somebody said, do you hate white people? So my answer would be no. I don't know everybody. I've never met Regina, but I don't hate Regina. Right? What I hate is their violence that they enact toward people and pretend like they're not doing anything wrong. I hate how Russ Vaught and those people want to oppress the country. I hate how Stephen Miller is a psychopath on the loose. I don't hate white people. See, white people, racist white people. Let me specify it. Racist white people hate black people. They hate others. Right? So did that answer your question? Do I hate white people? And I'm sure if you had a group of people that terrorized you, you wouldn't be friendly. You wouldn't be so trusting. Besides, it's the racists that tell them that we can't be trusted. And when my lost people invite you to the barbecue, when you're in our spaces, we make you feel welcome. Right? But you would have to have a sane, logical mind. As Regina said, my black nanny knew how to read. But her job was to be your nanny. But nonetheless, a job is a job. Because they see us in positions of servitude. Right? And like I said, one thing, I don't know where I know Regina said she is MAGA, but now if Regina is racist, I don't know that. I can't project that onto Regina because she has never called me the N-word on my live. She's never came in talking about my people sold each other into slavery. She's never used the talking points of a racist, but I don't know Regina personally. All I know is she's a MAGA. Now, I'm not going to say every MAGA person because you got black people that actually believe they're MAGA. I don't see how. Right? But what I will say is the majority of people that subscribe to racism are MAGA, right? But I don't know that to project that onto Regina. What I do know is Regina is tripping about that $1 gas. I will tell her that. Right. Let me read my guy LB, because I spend too much time on the Trump fakes it till he makes it. That's why people who voted for him are being deported. E. Jean Carroll looks like Mason. Is that Virgil from Hannibal? But yet Dookie decided to do what with her anyway. Okay. Trump looks like an orange demented blonde. My black nanny. See, Regina, that's a decent. That's an interesting talking point. I'm not gonna say decent. You said my black nanny used to read the Bible to me. Now, here's the question I want to ask. Why do you think that we were forbidden to read anything else but permitted to read the Bible as black people, as enslaved black people? Why do you think we were allowed to read the Bible but forbidden everything else? Number two, why do you think we were forbidden to read, right? Somebody says Butch. They are not trying to hear the truth. I don't know what Butch is. I don't know who the hell is Butch, but okay. You know, always what's funny is how people enter a room. And to me, how you enter a room says a lot of how you were raised, right? It says a lot about your mental temperament. And when somebody enters a room and they either don't speak or they come in and they say obnoxious things, it says a lot about how they were raised, right? See, I can expect children, teenagers, and children to name call and behave the way they do. One thing, and maybe because I'm just not on that side of any social media platform, one thing I never see is the youth behaving like this. Most of us are the new adults. Some of y'all are grandparents, and y'all enter lives and rooms and spaces with such a childish mentality. Like to come straight in and to say crazy things. I think that just says a lot about your mentality. Cleveland Brown says, you're boring. You see what I'm saying? What did I say in the beginning? Mental illness. You have been cursed. No, hell, I ain't Dan Houser. If you don't think that Dan Houser, you are a curse. I am not a cursed person. No, I'm not. I reject that. I reject that we are a cursed people because that's what they want us to accept into our mind. I think the only curse is racist white people. The curse of the world is white supremacy and white supremacists. Every place they go, they infect it. Right? So, no, we're not going to. Trump lied. Now the people who voted for him are crying about losing their health care and their jobs, their homes. He ruined farmers the first time, and they thought it was a good idea to vote for him. Good point, LB. But see, that's the crazy part of their mentality. This is why racism is stupid. and why racists are stupid, because they spit in the wind constantly, right? There's heavy wind blowing and they're spitting, so it's blowing back into their faces, right? And the fact that because they hate whoever that doesn't look like them or they see fit, they would rather vote that way, LB, because they feel like it would hurt black people or it would hurt others. So they would rather lose their health care because they feel like it would make blacks suffer and lose their health care. See, here's the crazy thing of them thinking that they are flawless and they're all rich and they're all wealthy and they don't need anything, and all of these people are the hardest working people of America. They don't receive help, they don't receive anything. All lies, right? The fact that everybody gets sick. Hell, what's his name? Is it Mitch McConnell, who they're trying to weekend at Brains? He's sick. Might be even checked up out of here. Don't know. Everybody gets sick. Money can treat it, but money can't cure you from passing on. So LB, they would rather vote in their own worst interest also, in their own interest also. Because they feel it would, as long as it would hurt us, and they feel like it would make somebody like me shut up, which is not gonna stop. That's what makes racism stupid. You have to be a stupid person to subscribe to racism. I was just gonna tell you, you hurt these guys all the time. You're just not very good at this. You're not very charismatic. I don't shuck and jive. Like what? What kind of charisma do you want me? See, charisma is Dookie Dunny. See, that's how you fall for cults, because it's a charismatic leader. See, if I behave like a nigger, ignorant fool like Charleston White, super charismatic, what people would think, right? It's just I don't shuck and jive. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm reading this now. Back to somehow I've gotten back to. Joe Friday said, and I guess he's referring to what I was talking about earlier, blacks today aren't blacks of 1910, but we are the descendants of them, Joe. You are the descendants of the people. You have descendants. Culture is consistent unless it's interrupted, Joe. So if I'm innately something, that means I'm consistently something. If we're naturally prone to violence the way you think. Now, remember, Joe, when I said we have to get to social engineering and behavior modification? Then that's when we wouldn't be the same as we were in 1910. Who do you want to see for that? We can see people like Albert Bandura, BF as in Frank Skinner, John B. Watson. So you have to understand, but y'all are incapable of understanding, right? They don't burn what? They like what, Regina? I know you're not talking about the cross that I was talking about, because I'm just now catching up with some of y'all comments. And as uncharismatic I am, y'all sure talk to me. Gee, an old man doesn't have much time left in the world. Wow, I would have never known. What? Trump is basically LB. LB, I appreciate you in the comments, man. Oh man. Whites have okay. Joe Friday, are you still in the comments? You says whites have fallen far since the 1910s too. In which way have they fallen, Joe? It's dishonor to do both, sir. And I'm a Christian, son of God. I don't know a Christian okay with burning crosses. Then you have to check the Christian nationalists. They said that this is a Christian nation, right? So I'm not sure what Dookie Dunny is, right? But I don't want to assume. But this is supposed to be a Christian nation, right? So if he can make a loud declaration of there will be a penalty for anybody who burns a flag, why isn't there a penalty for people who burn crosses? Why didn't he follow up with that? There's plenty. The Klan is a Christian group. Look, here comes the ignorant. Trump, USA. Reclaim America. Look, ice, baby. Ignorant. All right. Do I support FBA? I support whatever person. If FBA helps people to think clearly, what I don't support is the foolishness behind it. What I don't support is like another one that came in and just straight up insulted me and insulted my flag. Right? I think that we have to collectively, as Black people, understand how we're collectively under attack no matter what we think we believe. And we get so caught up in our belief and our set that we keep beefing with each other and we keep arguing with each other. And to that person that asked me that, number one, do you support FBA? And if you support foundational Black Americans, and if you consider yourself a foundational Black American, then why don't you have a problem with the white people and their interpretations of founding America? So you beefing with the wrong ones. That's my problem with FBA. That y'all bypass them when they look at y'all just like how they look at me. They don't look at y'all as Americans. These racists, these people in my comments that are saying these things, they don't look at you as an FBA. I think most of y'all subscribe to that mentality are like Myron Gaines. Y'all are trying to fake it and fit in, and you don't fit in. So I hope that answers your question. Wait until the communist takes over. I wonder where he got that talking point. I wonder where. Oh, that's the butch that somebody. Okay. FBA all day. Have at it. Have at it. If you believe in FBA, that's your thing. See, I told y'all it's about your consciousness. See, your consciousness is white. It's Europeanized. Because you think just like these people, for lack of better words, that the first thing that one of these people came in, they recognized my flag, one of these FBA, and they insulted it. So that means in your mind, you have zero tolerance for something that you see as different, that you've already deemed not to like. When I pass by a person of FBA and I see their flag, whatever flag that is. My question to FBA: why don't y'all have a problem with racist white people using the American flag? If that's y'all flag too, why don't y'all have a problem with racist white people? Why don't y'all have a problem with them people that was marching through DC with those flags? Since this is your country too. Tell them racist white folks that own this place and control the power dynamics. You know what LB says? You would think child abuse is something the country could come together on. You would think, LB. You would think the harming of children would be the one thing. But no, LB. I'm just reading these comments. Butch says Democrats care more about illegals than Black Americans, but y'all keep voting for them. Republicans doesn't care about raising up prices. They don't care about affordability, Butch. See, the control of your mind making you think again a set Democrat, Republican. You're doing the same thing. They've programmed you so much that the first thing you see is Democrats. Notice y'all wasn't talking like this in heavy volumes. Yeah, y'all might have had Democrat issues, but y'all wasn't talking like this in heavy volume. I'm hearing cats that I know start talking about all of a sudden now Democrats are a problem. And it's like, dog, you wasn't talking like that years ago. That shows you how you've been programmed. Oh, another one, propaganda, Edward Bernays. That's what Regina. I said it hadn't. I'm giving you grace. Period, Regina. It hasn't been 2 weeks yet, and I'm catching up to a lot of y'all comments. I'm just reading these comments, and a lot of them I won't even respond to because it's just y'all got. I mean, but it's really a moot point at this. Like we really like y'all brains are like really cooked. Majority of people brains are cooked, so it's no reforming and getting through to a lot of people. It's a waste of time. And I think, and I'm just looking at Joe Friday, and he's just calling names. Like I said, it's very childish. WS 100. What does that stand for? White supremacy? What is WS? Ramsey, the FBA? I told you, all they did was give you a different set. If you black, they just gave you another lane for the Willie Lynch. FBA versus the non-FBA. Black Muslim versus this. And that's why I said we far beyond, we at the point of no return. You either understand how to think with clarity at this point or you don't. There's no in between. There's no saving you. Somebody said racism isn't stupid. Says the stupid person. You were just racist. What are we saying here? You do not get to just throw around that term loosely. Because I'm speaking back to you in a manner that you don't agree with nor like doesn't make me racist. Racism, I read LB. Racism is disgusting. If you are a racist, it proves what a disgusting human being you are. Appreciate it, LB. Let's go to the next one. All right. He said, I'm here to book. Don't kick me. I ain't gonna kick you. I'm not gonna kick you. Like Joe Friday, I ain't tripping. Like, only time I kick y'all because it's a gang of y'all is when you just sit with. I mean, y'all really don't have self control anyway. But when you just have it's just unbearable, right? Because unlike most of y'all, I can deal with differences of opinions. But the reason I don't entertain everything y'all saying, Joe, is because y'all say the same stuff every day. That's why I know y'all are programmed like robots. Y'all say the same talking points. It's different people. This is my first time encountering you, Joe. But you say the same thing the people been saying. The dude Billy was saying last week, Rusty. Y'all say the same things. It's like regurgitating. So y'all have to expand y'all mind. But that's what racism keeps y'all away from that. Because you only allowed to think in your little matchbox. So anything outside of that matchbox, you can't comprehend. Right? So nobody's tripping on that. Y'all are here in my live every day. If it's not, guess what? If it's not you, Joe, it's gonna be another one who think like Joe. So yeah, I'm about to get up out of here. That's my time. My sound is off. I'm about to get up out of here anyway and make my dinner. And I will be back later. Regina, those gas prices aren't getting lower. But I will see y'all again because I'm sure y'all will be back.